So Joseph said to his brothers, "Come near me, please." And they came near. And he said, "I am your brother Joseph, whom you sold into Egypt. And now do not be distressed or angry with yourselves because you sold me here, for God sent me before you to preserve life." Joseph is giving us a glimpse of his theology now. Next verse. "For the famine has been in the land these 2 years, and there are yet 5 years in which there will be neither plowing nor harvest. And God sent me before you to preserve for you a remnant on earth, and to keep alive for you many survivors. So it was not you who sent me here, but God. He has made me a father to Pharaoh, and Lord of all his house, and ruler over all the land of Egypt. Hurry, go up to my father, and say to him, 'Thus says your son Joseph, God has made me Lord of Egypt. Come down to me, do not tarry. You shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and you shall be near me, you, your flocks, your herds, all you have. There I will provide for you. For there are yet 5 years of famine to come, so that you and your household and all that you have do not come to poverty. And now your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin see, that it is my mouth that speaks to you. You must tell my father of all my honor in Egypt, and of all that you have seen. Hurry, bring my father down here.' Then he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. And he kissed all his brothers and wept upon them. After that, his brothers talked with him." You know, we use the word far too much, but this is awesome, almost incomprehensible. After what they'd done to him, they had done the unthinkable, the unspeakable to him, and he extends forgiveness. Let me do a few things so that we can understand what it is we're dealing with. First, I want to define forgiveness for you, because many of us wrestle with the issue of forgiveness because we don't know what it means. And it has tremendous implications for our spiritual lives and for our relationships. Listen to this from John Calvin. First, what is forgiveness but a gift of mere liberality? A creditor is not said to forgive when he declares, by granting a discharge, that the money has been paid to him, but when, without any payment, through voluntary kindness, he expunges the debt. Forgiveness is expunging the debt. He uses these terms because you almost have to use these commercial terms in order to understand what forgiveness means. Forgiveness is the cancellation of a debt. Forgiveness means you don't have to pay. Now, you know, I have up here my trusty iPad. Say somebody came up here and knocked down my iPad and broke my iPad. And I looked at the person after they, broke my iPad, and I said, "Hey, I forgive you. I really do. I forgive you. $800. I'll go get me another one. We're good." I have not forgiven. I have not forgiven. Why? Because I'm making you pay. I did not cancel the debt. I'm making you pay. I didn't forgive. My words are hollow. My words are empty. See, usually when we say, "I forgive you," what we're really saying is, "I'm not going to blow up at you." Literally, that's all we mean. I'm not going to blow up at you. I'm not going to punch you. I want to, but I'm not going to right now. However, I am going to punish you in significant ways. Now, see, what happens when we get out of this transactional model, when we're not talking about finances anymore? What does it look like for me to make somebody pay, for me to not forgive? Well, a couple of things. How about depriving another person of my time and attention? I forgive you. I just don't want to be around you. I forgive you. I'm just not speaking to you. The husband and wife situation. I forgive you. I'm just withholding affection. That's not forgiveness. That is the opposite of forgiveness. You are being punitive. You're making the person pay. That means you're not forgiving. or depriving a parent of the honor and respect that they're due. I forgive you, but I'm not going to honor you and respect you. You've lost that. Again, you're not forgiving. Depriving a child of their inheritance. We see that with Jacob and Reuben, do we not? And there are people who do that. They don't forgive their kids. They say they forgive them, but then they punish them later on. I got something you want, something you need, something you expect. You're not going to get it. It's punishment. Refusing to acknowledge the accomplishments or achievements or special occasions in other people's lives. My mother was mean to me. My mother wasn't a good mother. So guess what I'll do? I'll show her. I won't send her a card on her birthday. You haven't forgiven. I'm not going to send them pictures of their grandkids. I'm making you pay. I'm not going to come see you. I'm making you pay. I'm not going to call you. I'm making you pay. This is unforgiveness. All the while we're saying, oh, I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you, but here's how you're going to pay. You're talking out of two sides of your mouth. That is the essence of unforgiveness. How about rejecting gifts? Hey, you got a card. It's from your mother. Throw it away. Hey, you got a gift. It's from your sister. You're probably just feeling guilty. I don't want that. You follow me? This is what unforgiveness looks like in your everyday life. Rejoicing in the suffering of someone else. You did me wrong. Now you got cancer. That's what you get. That's unforgiveness. And it's completely and utterly hypocritical. See, when you're not forgiving, there are a number of things that are going on. Number one, what's going on is you're being disobedient because you're commanded to forgive. Ephesians 4:32, we'll talk about that more in a moment. But you're commanded to forgive. So first and foremost, you're being disobedient. So refusing to forgive someone is sin. You're sinning against God, which is quite ironic because you're sinning because someone sinned against you. And you feel like your sin is justified because it came second. You're like a child saying, he hit me first. Here's the second problem with that. When you're not forgiving a believer, here's what you're saying to God. And don't tell me you're not saying this to God, because this is what you're saying to God. It sounds exactly like this. Listen, God, I know that Jesus died on the cross for what that person did to me, and that may be enough to satisfy you, but I require more. The death of Jesus Christ is not enough. I spit on the cross. It cannot pay for this. Die again, Jesus, because what you did wasn't good enough to cover this. They need your death on the cross plus the silent treatment from me. Wow, I better start forgiving believers. I just hold on to my unforgiveness against unbelievers. Now, really? Unbelievers will pay eternally for their sin in hell. The wrath of God poured out against them. So when you don't forgive an unbeliever, what you're saying is, God, your wrath is not enough. This person doesn't just need an eternity in hell. They need an eternity in hell plus me not taking their phone calls. That'll do it. Now the scales will be balanced because I got my pound of flesh. This is the wrong answer, but this is what we say to our God. Joseph was hated, enslaved, and imprisoned and estranged for over 2 decades so that Judah would live and he would have a son named David someday, who would have a son named Jesus someday, who would redeem God's people. It is because Joseph looked at his circumstances this way that he was able to forgive. This is Ephesians 4:32. Be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving each other. Next line, as God in Christ also forgave you. It's rooted in redemption. The ability to forgive is rooted in redemption. We understand Romans 12:19. We do not avenge ourselves. We leave it to the wrath of God. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. I will repay. God is the one who takes care of that. I don't take care of that. I am redeemed, and therefore I have the ability to forgive. Because I understand that your sin is ultimately against God, and he's the one that you have to deal with, not me. Who do I think I am that I need to be avenged? And how hypocritical is it that I look at my own sin so lightly and look at yours so large? See, because it's connected to redemption, this is where we have problems. Because the core of our forgiveness and redemption in Christ is tied up in forgiveness.